As the first ever winners of the World Cup, Uruguay will always have a strong association with football's most prestigious event. They were the last team to secure their place at South Africa 2010. In recent times, they failed to make an impression on the tournament. They qualified for just 2 of the last 5 World Cups and have won just 1 of their last 16 World Cup finals matches. The first of Uruguay's 20 games en route to South Africa 2010 was in October 2007, where they beat Bolivia 5-0. But that proved to be a false start. Oscar Tabarez's team failed to win any of their next 4 qualifiers, leaving them with 5 points from 5 games ahead of the visit of Peru in June 2008. That night, Uruguay won in style, hitting their opponents for 6. A hat-trick from Diego Forlan was the highlight. Carlos Bueno scored twice and Sebastian Abreu found the net in injury time to complete a memorable evening and take Uruguay to 4th in the standings, the final automatic qualification place in the CONMEBOL section. A 1-0 win in Colombia and a goalless draw at home to Ecuador followed, setting up the trip to Buenos Aires to play Argentina. The home side were on a poor run of form, but claimed a much-needed 2-1 win. All the goals came in the first half of an ill-tempered match. Lionel Messi and Sergio Aguero put the home side 2 goals ahead inside the opening 15 minutes. Diego Lugano pulled a goal back 6 minutes before half-time, but Uruguay couldn't force an equaliser. Uruguay have never won a World Cup qualifier in Buenos Aires. So at the halfway stage, Uruguay were 5th in the standings with 12 points from 9 games. Uruguay quickly put the disappointment of the Argentina defeat behind them and went unbeaten in their next 3 games. After coming back from 2 goals down to take a point in Bolivia, Uruguay beat Paraguay 2-0 and drew 0-0 in Chile. Next up was the visit of the 5-time world champions. Uruguay were unbeaten at home in 33 years against Brazil, but that record came to an end. Brazil won 4-0, a major blow to Uruguay's hopes of taking one of the automatic qualification places. An early error from Uruguay keeper Sebastian Vieira saw Daniel Alves give the away side the lead. Further goals from Juan, Luis Fabiano and Kaká completed the scoring. Uruguay were still 5th in the standings, now with 17 points from 13 games. 5 matches remained and Tabarez would need to rally his troops for the run-in. After drawing in Venezuela, Uruguay suffered a 1-0 defeat in Peru, but got back to winning ways with a 3-1 success against Colombia at home. That was a much-needed win and meant 3 points against Ecuador in Quito in the penultimate group game would reignite qualification hopes. Ecuador needed a win to secure their place in the finals, but Uruguay took all 3 points with a determined performance. Antonio Valencia gave the home side the lead midway through the second half, but a minute later Luis Suarez restored parity. It seemed as though Uruguay would have to settle for a draw, but Ecuador conceded an injury time penalty, which Diego Forlan held his nerve to convert and confirm a vital 3 points. It meant that a win against Argentina in the final match of the group would see Uruguay qualify for the World Cup. A massive game to end 2 years of qualifying then, as the age-old rivals met in a winner-takes-all encounter. It was Argentina who claimed the automatic route to the finals. A predictably tight and tense affair was drifting towards a goalless draw before an incredible closing 10 minutes. First, Jose Martin Caceres was sent off for the home side after receiving his second booking of the night. Then, from the resultant free kick, Mario Belatti eventually scored past Muslera in the Uruguay goal to send the away side and their coach Diego Maradona into ecstasy and break Uruguayan hearts. Hopes of automatic qualification may have been dashed, but Uruguay finished 5th and were in a 2-legged playoff against Costa Rica. The playoffs were something Uruguay had previous experience of. They had beaten Australia to qualify for the 2002 finals, but had lost to the same opponents at the same stage in qualifying for Germany 2006. In the first leg away to Costa Rica, Uruguay gave an excellent performance and took a big step towards South Africa with a 1-0 win. The priceless away goal was scored by Diego Lugano in the first half, and though the home side created chances to draw level, Uruguay held on to take an advantage into the decisive game in Montevideo. The tension was almost unbearable for the home crowd, but eventually Uruguay scored 20 minutes from time when substitute Sebastian Abreu headed in. Costa Rica ensured an exciting finish when they levelled the score on the night 4 minutes later. But Uruguay clung on to reach their first World Cup finals in 8 years. The first ever winners of the World Cup will be keen to show they belong at world football's biggest event. Having disappointed in recent years, their target will surely be to at least reach the knockout stages, a feat they haven't achieved since Italia '90.